Okay, I decided to go ahead and do this. When you want to start something, everything seems to want to just distract you. Like, I have my microphone rigged up, I got my laptop going. So, sniffling all at the same time, but I am determined not to let that stop me. I decided I wanted to do a podcast every other week and a blog post every other week. So, in between those. Now, this is my first time podcasting on Substack, but I've just been determined to want to do a podcast. I've started quite a few. Just to give you a little bit about information about me, my name is Cheryl Thomas, and I am the host of The Way to Words. Um, and I've always wanted to start a podcast, and I'm sure I've started like 4 or 5 of them already, but I just never I'm always changing my mind or feeling like or letting something distract me. So that's the name of this episode, not procrastinating, not letting anything interfere with what I'm trying to do. This is 2026. And that's just what we're going to do. I think before I would just put too much on myself, being new at it. Sometimes you're in a moment, you're excited about it, so you feel like you can do a podcast every week, and then you slowly realize you're not even taking in what you're talking about because you're still trying to learn how to do this. So, and then it goes from it just constantly dwindles down until you like get distracted and want to go do something else because you can't figure out the algorithm or figure out anything about it. So I'm determined this time not to let that stop me. And as I said, I was watching a YouTube video of people I follow, and someone mentioned about doing all their stuff on Substack. um, I had started on Podbean just because mostly I do a lot of stuff on my phone, and it had an app for that. But then I checked into the Substack, and here I am. It helps me because I think uh, creating an email list is always like, how do you do that? Is how I've always thought to myself. Is I'm more of an introverted person, but so just going up asking people for their emails has always been something I struggled with. So this seems to have it ticks a lot of boxes for me just to get started, and it could be something I just stick with for as long as I'm podcasting, unless like I build a studio or something. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I am a very creative person. Sometimes that could be your downfall, trying to really zone in on one particular thing, uh, and staying focused on it. So I think right now my podcast and my blog and my music, I do make AI music. Before I was making AI, and then occasionally I make some beats, but before I was using AI to make music, I was making my own beats and things like that, and just constantly educating myself and getting myself into that mode where I'm comfortable, secure, or confident in what I was doing. So I do as well make my own music. I do have it on Spotify I have an AI artist who, her name is Mavie on Spotify. So, but we'll talk more about that later. So I just wanted to see how this goes, make sure my equipment that I have is good enough. I've been having this little mini Rode microphone, and but I was doing everything on my phone mostly, so it's not something I can plug into my phone. So I decided to just try it, uh, to do it on my laptop, uh, because I can carry this with me, but it like on if I'm out. So yeah, I just wanted to get into this and not let distractions or anything stop me from my schedule that I created for myself. This is a podcast week, so next week will be a blog post week, and just go from there. I had prepared something, but then I just decided I wanted to get on here and just chat with you. I see we could do a lot of things on here as far as just chat, just podcast. So, and it's just me learning this system as well. So, but I think I was going to ask the what is the cost of an outdated story? is It's something was wanting to talk about too. It was part of my episode. Um, Old stories don't just shape how we feel, they shape how we behave. So, can we ever get out of that? I mean, I know we bring up a lot of times how we were raised, what we grew up seeing, what we grew up listening to, and like musically, I know we don't grow a lot out of what we grew up listening to. But we do add more into it to make it our own. But old stories that people have tried to put on you to shape you the way they wanted you to, do you find yourself stuck in that? I fight against it so much. I try to stay true to who I am, who I've learned to be myself, or what I've grown to be myself, and not let other people's opinions. I know when I was younger, I think when we all were younger, we all questioned a lot of things as far as why we are the way we are, what makes us why we are, whatever is going on in your household or whatever, why is it this way or why is it that way? So I know we struggle with that. Sometimes people will want you to believe that you the only one has growing pains, and that's just not true. So uh, they influence what you try. I mean, these are the things that's in but old stories, the cost of an outdated story. What you try, what you tolerate, what you explain away, what you never even begin. Like sometimes when people say, I mean, I don't like talking about this so much as far as when people have said negative things about you, like you'll never amount to anything or you're wasting your time, you should go get a real job, or anything that someone probably said that sticks in the back of your mind that sometimes might creep in and say, they could be right. So those are those outdated stories that sometimes cost us so much, because if we give into them, then we never know if we'll amount to anything, right? And then they are right. I mean, if we don't give into them, that means sometimes you have to work a little harder to get on that right path that you're trying to get on. Sorry, and I'm just reading. I mean, the cost isn't always dramatic. It's subtle sometimes, We do always look for the dramatics of things, but I'm learning this since this year has started. I'm learning not to realize I can't win everything. I can't. I would love to go back to when someone say we need to go back to the beginning of what. I mean, I can't crawl back into nobody's wound or anything. I can't. So I can only go from where I'm at, and where I'm at is this is it. I can't fight it all. I can't win it all. I don't even want to position myself into that type of mind frame. I used to try to be neat and well, like if you're a crafter, you have certain parts of your house that's just a mess, probably mostly, and you'll keep to organize that, but you would like when you come up out of that, you would like to feel like you're in a normal setting and you can think straight and reorganize your thoughts. Uh, and I used to try to be that way, But at this present moment, something has forced me not to be that way. And instead of fighting against it and constantly trying to, I used to have this for a split second. I would count squares. I don't know. I could be anywhere. Tiles are everywhere. Squares are when you have the tile ceilings, and I would sit somewhere and I'd have to count them. It was like something. So I realized at this point, it's not something I can do. I can't count mess. It just has to stay the way it is. I mean, no, it don't have to be everywhere. It could still look neat, but messy. It's what I realize, and therefore I can't fight that outdated story anymore. I can't let it cost me too much. Is how I feel about this. So, and excuse me if I'm an animated person when I'm talking. I don't know, but I do eventually want to get into videos. Excuse me if you hear because I said my nose all of a sudden. It's like I'm allergic to something in resin, so I for some reason I wanted to do something with resin, and then it just broke me all out. So, but I do eventually want to get into the videos. I do want to get back to some point of normalcy in my life where I can sit down and just chat with my audience, or we can talk back and forth without the distractions, without just I mean, I know we all experience things in life, and it could be your kids and your husband or something, that every time you get ready to do something, they need you to mend a hole in a sock or something. I don't know. So we all deal with these things. So and so I try to be positive. I am a most positive person for the most part. No matter what I'm going through, I try not to take that out on other people. Um, but that's one. I don't think that's something that is ever a outdated part of the story. You should always try to find something that completes you within, to know that you can't change everybody's mind. You can't get people to look at things differently. You can't get people to like you if they don't. I mean, these are just things. So a lot of times it's for some other people too, as well, to realize. I mean, it costs too much to do things, and especially like I only know of this inflation in my life, and I won't tell you my age. I don't know where I've been the rest of my life not to know that there was such a thing. So this is the only inflation I can talk about. And I can't really tell you why is it. It's just a natural thing that we do. Is like a snake shedding its skin or something. It's just a natural thing you have to do to become new or something. Um, So, and that's the only thing I know. So, and I liken it to these things. Sometimes it's just what you have to do, unless you just have been poor stewardess over your money or something. I don't know, but like I said, I don't know where I've been, because I see when people talk about it that it happens. Not quite often, but often enough for people to know. So anyway, that's yeah. The cost of outdated stories. Do you have any stories you feel like you should shed, like snakeskin, to just to start over new? I know we all go through these every year. We start some new regimens and things we want to do different, like learning how to advertise or market your business or your brand, and learning how to do content, come up with content, and like, if you like selling stuff, like I said, I am a artist. I'm just naturally an artist, and I love music. I love art. I think they go together. I always try to come up with some pieces on my own, and so I think a lot of times, like in this year with my downtime, I think I do want to get into. I've been watching videos of some like realism artist where, so I want to try to do that. It's just when I have some time, I think when spring comes as well too, it's something you can just sit outside and do and enjoy. And because I obviously cannot do resin, which I enjoy looking at resin. I thought I could make some. It was a moment I did make some good pieces, but it that's an outdated story for me that just cost too much. So uh, literally, figuratively. Um, so yeah, I think that's some part of things I can do, and I do feel like even though I'm not really learned at a lot of these things as far as content or even talking to people, I mean, I feel like I do have value in my work or in anything I'm doing. I feel like I do it with a purpose. It's purpose driven. I think I do add value to it, even though I'm not studying anything for it. But so I feel like I am someone that feels like I can sit around and talk to someone. But my life is so structured in a way that it's hard to talk to people because of, and that's all I can say. Not 'cause that I can't talk to people, but it's so much tug of war on things. So that's another outdated story that I'm not choosing to let it cost me anything. And if someone else wants to charge themselves or whatever, I don't know. It's just, but that is the whole thing to this podcast, the weight of words, uh, and it's not all negative. The weight of words. Some people can speak into your life. I mean, and set you on the right path. Hopefully, from the beginning of your existence, that someone has spoke something into your life. Like when your parents look at you. I've seen people look at their parents say, "No, my child's going to be a doctor or a lawyer or a priest." Or sometimes people speak into your life, and those words do become heavy, not burdensome. They're heavy to where you you can walk with your head up high if that's what you believe. They become burdensome if it's not really you. You know, People can say they want you to be something, but a lot of times they have to kind of see if that's what lines up with you, because we all have these our own personalities and God-given talents, and so sometimes that's when I feel like it can become burdensome, uh, or else when someone is trying to force something on you. Uh, even, I mean, we learn how to deal with people that just we don't see eye to eye with. Once you grow out of those tender ages where you feel like you got to combat everything, uh, you learn how to just take things, as they say, with a grain of salt, and let people have their own opinion. You're free to it. And you try to figure out a different avenue for you to continue to be yourself without them. Sometimes people who like to bully you or something like to just stand around and hopefully get the best of you. And I don't think that one sided, because they also say, sometimes just being kind to people, not kind going to their door or giving cookies or anything, but just kind to where you just like, do you, and I'm just going to continue to be myself. Sometimes that bothers people even more than uh, anything else. So once you learn how to tune a lot of stuff out and not let it make you a bitter, angry person, sometimes that bothers people even more too, but I'm staying on topic, right? It's the way to words. Sometimes you don't always have to, sometimes stop saying sometimes, right? When silence sometimes is the best speaker. I haven't heard anybody say that, but Sometimes it is. It's the best speaker because people, when they can't figure you out a lot of times, when they prejudged you a lot of times, and just to find out they don't really know you, they don't know how you deal with things, they don't know what you think because you've never really been around just broadcasting your thoughts. Well, I have, but only when I feel like people are trying to force themselves on me will I take up a voice, because that's what I first learned, is not to go along with bullies, you know. Um, so that is my thing. The way the words, it's just, I feel like words. We all know words hold weight. They hold a lot of stuff. I mean, and it could be just a small word. Somebody can just come tell you something, and you can just say and then it'll make them get all like neck snapping and what? I mean, and I don't know. So they hold a lot of words, from the biggest to the smallest of um, and that's what we're talking about here. But and what the words that I say mean to me, or what I'm going through means to me, or and that's all I know. It's been a journey, is what I can say. Just from starting out from my first existence or something, and what I remember the most about things, that stick out to me the most is me and my father being in a den, and I'm a little baby, so that's some. I don't know anything he said, but whatever he said, it stuck with me to this day. So, uh, yeah, knowing that I have a significant other that loves me, it's just words again that's been spoken into my life that makes me know I'm not alone. Um, this is not just a because thing. I mean, so, but I encourage you to kind of figure out if you're holding on to some outdated stories, and if how much is it costing you. I mean, do a little math on that and understand what it is, and then just try to create a new story from there, a fresh one that uh, that's speaking volume in your life, and not to quit. Don't think you're a failure, or you will amount to something if that's what you really want to do. Uh, you don't need a new story. You need a truer one. Sometimes we do always look for something new to complete us or make us feel better or anything, and trying to cover up something that's really bothering us or stuff like that. This isn't about pretending everything is fine, and it's not about rewriting your life in glowing language. It's about accuracy. Many stories are built on absolute language, like always, never, everyone, no one. These words feel decisive, but they are rarely honest. So it's just like rewriting your story doesn't mean erasing the past. It means updating the a sentence leaves room for growth. And I think that's what we look at for the most, is growth. I mean, no one wants to feel like they leave the earth and they never did accomplish anything. Not that and you need to accomplish anything big or anything, but whatever you feel like your goals was. I mean, you try every day to make sure you accomplish your own goals and not let other people, you you know, it's not things you shouldn't say. Not, I'm bad at consistency. You shouldn't say that. It's just I haven't practiced it enough to be good at it. It's probably something I should start doing. And so that's just the point of that. It's saying don't just keep saying those bad words, even if you know you're good at it. You might not be good at public speaking, but as we all know, practice makes perfect. I mean, if you look at me, listen to me. And then I'm telling you, you've never really seen me out and about talking anywhere to where I would be good at speaking like this way in public, holding a conversation. Or so it is something you can do, whether you learned it or went to school for it, or you just decided it's what you wanted to do. I mean, the more you practice it, the more you'll get good at it, and the more you not let other things come between what you want to do, and just keep pressing forward. Sometimes things do get hectic in life, and if you plan to have a podcast on this, and just try to talk for 10 minutes or something and let people know what you're going through. And I think that's the being honest about it. And that's another outdated story. You can kind of like stop letting it cost you, because it's about building something with your audience. And if you just come and say, "Hey, I mean, I planned this. You guys know I've been doing this, but so much is going on in my life right now. This is all I can do is get on here and let you know, and hopefully you'll understand it." Um, we'll just go from there. But I think that's the point I'm just trying to get for myself. It's not letting other things distract me. And if I can't talk for 30 or 40 minutes, I can talk for at least 5 or 10 to let somebody know. When you were younger, sometimes your parents would be like, well, let me know where you're going. And it always bothers you, right? Like, you feel like, why I was gonna I'm trying to do this, that, or the other. But so I think though that's a story, and then it probably shouldn't be outdated in this day and age, right? Because your audience always wants to know where you're going, what you're doing, where you get that from, how did you come up with that, and so and that shouldn't cost you. Uh, You shouldn't have to go to bed because you couldn't complete everything you wanted to, and stress yourself out about it. It's like where I work at, sometimes we have this program, and sometimes when you people come and ask you why this, that, or the other at your job, like it's a program that when you turn if you pick some kind of insurance when you get to this age, they'll pay for your membership or something. I work at the YMCA. So if they don't if they're not consistent at coming for like 30 days or something, they just will automatically cancel it. Before they would just let it roll on and roll on, but then they stopped doing that. So when they come to me after they've been canceled, and they were like, "Why is it?" And the only answer I can come up with is like it's like what you tell your kids, right? Because they feel like when you get older, and older, you keep reverting back to when you was a kid, right? So it's and I don't know if that's a fact, but I just know that's what people have said. But so it's all I could tell them. It's like what you would tell your kids if you buying something for them and they not using it, and you say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna cancel it." So I said, I feel like that's what the mindset of the uh, insurance company or whoever's paying for it. I feel like that's their mindset when it comes to that. It's no need of me paying for something you're not going to use, and it's also something you would tell your kids. I'm not going to pay your. But anyway, so that's my thought process with that. So, and it's the only thing I can say. And it's not like I sometimes again the way the words it sometimes it might feel like I'm trying to be a smart, but it's not. It's just the only way I can explain it, and these the only words I know how to use since I didn't go to school for it. I don't. But anyway, I thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I'm glad I did it. I mean, like I said, um, I really want to do this. I want to be good at doing it. And like I said, I do feel like my I hold value in whatever I'm doing. Sometimes people try to make you feel like because you didn't go to school and get degrees for whatever you're doing, it's not really a value. But I mean, it's not for them to judge. It's for my audience to. If I gain an audience, that means It's not about degrees. It's about people just liking how I deliver whatever I'm doing, or how I talk about it, how whatever it is. So that's another thing. It doesn't matter if you have a degree in it, or you didn't graduate, or you went and got your GED, or you did it, whatever you did. And you can't sit back and feel sorry for yourself because of whatever you did or did not do. So I thank you guys so much. Like I said, my I don't know if I will try to work on some type of thing where what days is a blog day, what a podcast day. I'll try to make some kind of calendar thing. I think I did when I had a website. I would come up with this calendar on my website for people to see. So I will work on that as well, and not only for my audience, or but for myself, because sometimes life gets so busy. I mean, I do have it where it's like reminding me that I need to do it, uh, but sometimes life, has you doing busy and trying to do too much at one time sometimes. So we will work on that. Some other things we'll work on, just trying to be consistent, not trying to, it's just when you try to start off in something new, sometimes, like I said from the beginning, you try to do too much at one time, or, like you try to figure out that system. Should I post every day? I mean, you can watch videos, and some people feel like you should post every day, but you do kind of wear thin on that, because just posting, well, I mean, I could post smiley faces. Hey, but it's a lot of your brain you have to use trying to come up with content. And if you have a life, and I'm saying that might work for other people, but the point is, you have to find that system that works for you. Like you say, you can post like funny pictures you drawn and say hi, how you doing. That's something you can do every day. But trying to really get people to follow you from something, you I don't know. It's just find what works for you, and don't get too stressed out at first. Don't let newness of something, because we know the newness of everything wears out. Like when someone telling you, I need you to go back to the newness, then you need to go back. Okay, so anyway, I'm sorry. Anyway, I thank you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until next time, take care of yourself and yours. Thank you. Now I gotta. Okay, stop. How do you stop? Okay, I always figure these things. How do you stop recording? Right? Okay. Oh, these are bloopers, I guess. Hello. I don't know if you could. Um, just stop it, right? That should say stop. It should. I tell you, I never can get this. Never.